In your news this morning, rainy weather. Macomb gets hit with flash flooding last evening. And two Quincy men behind bars this morning in connection with a Quincy business burglary. And we've got new information from the Quincy City Council. That and so much more next on KHQA This Morning.
Live from across the tri-states, this is KHQA This Morning. It's your news now.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on this May 5th. It's 5/5/15, a Tuesday. I'm Chad Douglas. Lauren Khalil is talking about pianos and how that might be kind of a dying art. We also have an update on Quincy City Council meeting held last night, as we just told you. Plus, we have some rain that has kind of moved through the area, and Tegan has gotten her big broom and pushed it on out.
I did.
And you're going to warm things up for this Tuesday.
It is going to be warm and the sunshine is going to return and a little muggy as well for your Tuesday. Some rumbles of thunder might woke you up a little bit earlier than you really wanted to, or maybe before that alarm clock went off. But all of that rain now is heading out of the tri-state area, not before bringing some pretty heavy rain to McDonough County yesterday afternoon, as Chad just mentioned. For us right now, though, you see just a few lingering showers in the most northeastern half of the tri-states. That's pretty much about it for today as far as that rain goes. Temperatures are going to continue that warm up for us at 63 degrees under partly cloudy skies, but we're going to move those clouds out over the next few hours too. Our humidity right at 90% with winds out the east-southeast at 7 miles per hour. Warming up to the mid-80s again today, but keep the umbrella handy. We'll see that rain return.
All right, on to your news now at 5:01. The water has gone down now, but Macomb was a mess with flash flooding last night. There were reports of 1 foot of water near the Western Illinois University campus as hail and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning were reported. Check out this video. WAU spokesperson Darcy Schenberger reported small leaks at several buildings on Western's campus. Schenberger also said the intersection of Western Avenue and Adams Street adjacent to Corbin Hall and Olson Hall was closed because of flooding. Flash flooding affected several roads in the city, including the 400 block of West Washington and US 136 from Lafayette to Johnson Streets. Luckily, nobody was hurt. 3 suspects are now in jail this morning for a robbery that happened in Hannibal. HPD responded to the area of Hope and Griffith Street shortly after 2 o'clock yesterday morning. The 18-year-old victim identified 3 suspects that he claimed assaulted him and stole his shoes. 19-year-old Dominic May of Quincy, a 14-year-old juvenile of Quincy, and a 16-year-old juvenile of Hannibal were taken into custody a short time later without incident. They have been charged with robbery in the 2nd degree. May was placed on a 24-hour hold at the Marion County Jail. The 2 juveniles were released to the Juvenile Justice Center. 2 Quincy men are behind bars in connection with a Quincy business burglary. Justin Winningham and Samuel Winningham were arrested late last week after the Adams County Sheriff's Department found equipment and tools stolen from Peter's Auto Body and Towing in their possession. Tools and equipment with an estimated value of more than $10,000 and a car were allegedly taken from the business. The car was later found in the North Bottoms and it had been burned. Next, volunteers have now opened a fundraising account in honor of Ray Sean Humphrey Jr. Ray Sean was shot and killed in Quincy in March. There have been no arrests in connection to the shooting death. Ray's World is a charity to raise money for a reward to solve the homicide. Donations are tax deductible. The money will be used for funeral and burial expenses and other charitable acts in Ray's memory. You can make a donation at any Mercantile Bank location. An attorney who represented one of the 2 men who opened fire in Texas on Sunday says she assumes that Elton Simpson just snapped because there was no indication that he was capable of violence. But Simpson had been the target of a terror investigation that began in 2006. Authorities say he and the other suspect, Nadir Sufi, opened fire Sunday outside an event that had a Prophet Muhammad cartoon contest. Simpson and Sufi were shot dead by police after shooting and hurting a security officer. Rescuers in Nepal now believe another 180 people may be buried in a village along a popular trekking route that was hit by a mudslide triggered by the April 25th massive earthquake. Testimony resumes this morning in the trial of Colorado movie theater shooter James Holmes. Yesterday, jurors saw a video in which Holmes asked detectives if there weren't any children hurt. Were there? The Senate now poised to approve a compromised Republican budget that makes deep cuts in spending while boosting Pentagon accounts by an additional $38 billion next year. And Manny Pacquiao could now face disciplinary action from Nevada boxing officials for not disclosing a shoulder injury before his fight with Floyd Mayweather over the weekend. Hillary Clinton has now agreed to testify before the House Select Committee on Benghazi later this month. The panel's chairman, Representative Trey Gowdy, asked Clinton, former Secretary of State, to testify before the committee on her private email server and the 2012 attacks on Benghazi that killed 4 Americans. Clinton's lawyer responded and said Clinton would testify only once on both topics, sometime in May. The committee is considering the offer and will comment later regarding the path moving forward. 18 months before Election Day, and the Republican presidential field is now growing by leaps and bounds. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee throws his hat into the ring later today in Hope, Arkansas. That's a day after Dr. Ben Carson and Carly Fiorina declared their intention to seek the Republican presidential nomination. Here's Andrew Spencer.
On Tuesday.
The Republican presidential field expands Tuesday with Mike Huckabee's announcement that he's running for president. He was a contender in 2008, winning the Iowa caucus and primaries in West Virginia, Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, and Tennessee. His announcement comes a day after two political newcomers threw their hats into the ring. Ben Carson returned to his hometown of Detroit to make his declaration.
Well, who are you? I'll tell you. I'm Ben Carson, and I'm a candidate for President of the United States.
Carson is a retired neurosurgeon whose blunt talk and anti-Obama rhetoric is gaining him a conservative following. Hewlett-Packard's former CEO also joined the race Monday.
I'm Carly Fiorina, and I'm running for president.
Carly Fiorina ran the computer giant from 1999 to 2005, and she's touting her executive experience and business credentials as a counterpoint to Hillary Clinton's political experience.
But I think we need a president of the United States now who actually understands how the economy works.
Focusing on her time as CEO could hurt Fiorina as much as it helps her. The company lost thousands of jobs on her watch, and she was eventually forced out. Huckabee, Carson, and Fiorina joined Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and Rand Paul, who are already part of a field that could get even larger in coming months. I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
Today is May 5th, or as it's called in Spanish, Cinco de Mayo. It's a day of celebration for Mexico and many Mexican Americans. The holiday marks the Mexican victory over France at the Battle of Puebla on May 5th, 1862. While there are some official observances in Mexico, it's actually a much bigger day in the United States as a celebration of Mexican heritage and culture. Just don't confuse it with Mexican Independence Day. Mark your calendar for that, September 16th. 11 new health conditions could soon be approved for the Illinois medical marijuana program. A board rejected 3 others because of a lack of scientific evidence, or in the case of diabetes, because of concern that marijuana would stimulate appetite in patients. That list of conditions includes anorexia nervosa, post-traumatic stress disorder, migraines, chronic post-operative pain, and osteoarthritis. Under the Illinois medical marijuana law, the recommendations next need approval by Illinois' Department of Public Health Director. That could likely take several months before the new conditions become part of the program. You can find a full list of those 11 conditions at khqa.com. And we now have new information from the Quincy City Council this morning. 3 new members have been added to the board and are very eager to begin their term, but know they have a rough road ahead of them. KHQA's Jack Pluta has more.
Hi, Jeff Bergman.
Before Monday night's City Council meeting began, 3 new members took an oath to help the city of Quincy. All 3 know they face a big challenge. A city budget deficit of more than $1 million.
That is a huge challenge. First of all, I hope that the cuts are not nearly as significant as what's being threatened right now.
I definitely think the budget has been cut as much as it really can. I think now the questions are going to be more in the revenue side.
I think it's wise to look ahead and do cuts ahead of time. Hopefully there will be some more money coming back, but if there's not, we'll be in the same position where we were last week, and we'll have to look at some more cuts.
New Alderman Eric Entrup, Jeff Bergman, and Jeff Van Camp say they hope the state allocates more money for cities, so cuts will be a last resort. They also agree the city needs more revenue in some form, but as of Monday and their first official council meeting, they're just happy to hold the title of Quincy City Council member and provide for their people.
I want to be involved in the city as much as I can. This is one way I saw that would have a good impact and make a difference.
I would do everything I can to answer phones as fast and as friendly as I can, get an answer for somebody, and just try to help somebody improve their part of the neighborhood.
I'm looking forward to working with the administration and working with the rest of the city council to move Quincy forward.
Jack Pluta, KHQA News, Quincy.
Now to the council meeting itself. A resolution to approve close to $350,000 for the reconstruction of North 2nd between Maine and Hampshire was tabled until next week. Coming up a little later, we'll tell you how one class is going outside of the box to learn how the environment affects everybody.
And those scattered showers that brought some flash flooding and some hail to portions of McDonough County out of the tri-state area. Back with plenty of sunshine today. I'll show you how warm it's going to get coming up next.